All right, testing, testing. I do have a bit of noise. Let's try and turn on the noise suppression. All right, test, test, test. Microphone check over on YouTube. Yeah, now that I got the AC in the background. Might have to fiddle with audio due to the noise. We'll see. All right, and then let's do Twitter. Pop out the chat here. And it sounds great so far. Thank you, Swampy. Ooh, itchy nose. All right, there we go. Aiden Bai just let us in on how he's doing it. Hold on, let me just move this over a little bit. His setup's pretty good too. That looks like the exact same one. Yeah, his tubes look exactly like mine. That's interesting. I like how his is set up, though. It's good. You have a casement window? What's a casement window? I'm not sure what that even is. Okay, and hold on, tuples. Let me scroll up a bit. The metric formula itself is somewhat simple, but turning it into statistical confidence scores is a pain. We can probably use x squared as a comparative metric to skip the annoying parts. It's basically a variance score against the expected flat distribution conceptually. So there's different versions, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, for sure. Ooh, so no good, Nick. I think you might have what I have. So basically, you like rotate a thing that opens the window out or whatever, right? Or like maybe opens it out that way or whatever. Yeah? Oh, you don't have to rotate anything. Okay, so you just like, you know, unlock it and push it. Got it. So without the rotating handle. So that's exactly what I have. And that's why I have to do the cardboard and then like the duct tape around the edges, because that's actually taking up the rest of the thing. And now my window's just like opened up and out all the time. Yeah, I mean that's literally what I have no good nicks. So you might check it out. It might be worth it, especially as it's getting hotter and hotter. Interestingly, mister. Cool. Yeah, so the thing we're actually doing right now, and I can show you a bit of it, is we are trying to graph hashing algorithms for their distribution as well as their speed. And we want to make sure that it is like fully distributed well. Yeah, no worries, Space Case. Have a good one. Probably see you again later. Or maybe over on Gaming Channel tomorrow. But yeah, so the basic gist is we are doing this not for password hashing. So we're not looking for like cryptographic hashing. What we're looking for is good, fast, and easy hashing to get actual like collisions. And those collisions are intended because we need to get it into a value between 0 and 100. Right? And yeah, what's up, Swampy? How you doing? So yeah, this is not cryptographic. This is for what you would basically want inside of like a hash map, right? The algorithm for hashing things into a hash map so that you can have smaller lookup buckets, etc., right? We're doing it for a gradual release for a feature flag system. And what that ends up meaning is that, yeah, we want to evaluate how a simple-ish algorithm can actually be like reproduced in other languages too. No, this is not for locating data. This is for a gradual release of feature flags. If you're not quite sure what I mean by that, let's say you want to release a feature of your application out to 20% of users. You would need to then hash their user ID into a value between 0 and 100, and less than 20 means that they have the feature turned on. Right? So it is similar, though, to what you would do with a hash map. Right? You're still trying to get things within an evenly distributed set of buckets, which would technically be just the percentages between 0 and 100, based upon like the bucket you want to separate them on, either 20% of users, 50% of users, etc. So one thing that we're doing is if we pass string values, such as a UUID or nano ID or some other just like unique ID that's going to represent your users, we see a bunch of hashing algorithms that look fine and they're ordered by rank. We actually have more than the ones we're showing. We're showing the top 10 of them. And then from there, we already have like, there's 50 that Node.js ships with on its own. But the important thing to recognize is that we also want a simple algorithm that we can port between a bunch of languages that might not have some of these things built in. So Node.js has 50 hashing algorithms built in, but Lua, I don't know if it has any. So then we'd have to rely upon third-party open source things that we could bring in. And that's just more work, when instead we could just do something as simple as our naive algorithm right here, which takes it, multiplies it by a magic string and a seed, and then, you know, we just turn it into a value between 0 and 100. The seed's important because you might want to select a new 20% of users, you know, as you like try your experiments out. What we end up seeing is that here's another one from Graham the dev, who's awesome. He gave us this one, which I believe is from Minecraft, and it's not anything, you know, unique. It's actually the exact same as what we ended up writing over here, except that they use different magic numbers, and they kind of employ the magic numbers a different way. These magic numbers are not proprietary. Minecraft doesn't own them whatsoever. They go back easily like 50 years in usage. I think at least one of these might even be used in like Doom for some of their stuff. But then we can see that there's one called DJB2, also fairly similar, right? They end up doing a starting hash of 5381. Again, magic numbers are fairly important for how these things work. And it's a pretty straightforward algorithm too, which is pretty cool. Then we see another one called FNV1A, which uses these magic numbers, and there's actually different magic numbers based upon if you're doing 32-bit numbers or 64-bit numbers. We had a flaw in the way I was doing this before because I was using 64-bit numbers. It means that JavaScript only supports 64-bit numbers, so as we hit the bounds of 64-bit, we actually end up truncating data. So, it took looking at how Growthbook does their hashing to recognize that they're using 32-bit instead of 64-bit. I wanted to test to see if theirs breaks in the same way that my 64-bit was breaking as well. My guess is that it's going to, but we're going to find that out as we start graphing and testing some of this stuff. So yeah, technically, I don't even though it's MIT licensed, we could just copy and paste the Growthbook stuff, but they're not doing a faithful FNV1A, so I actually want to evaluate the FNV1A against their version of it, just to see what changes, if the distribution changes, things like that. Right? Because they ended up doing a double hash rather than a single hash, which does make it slightly slower because it has to run twice. So I'm wondering if we end up needing the double hashing that they did to, make their distribution better, or if we faithfully reproduce using the primes and it ends up working out just fine and still being fast. Because it's entirely possible that someone might have one of these gradual checks on a hot path of their application. So we want to tie up as few CPU cycles as we can. I assume it will be rare for someone to do that, but it's possible though, so we want to make sure that we're supporting what we're doing at the fastest as we can. So Steel Toad, for FNV1A, you need at least a prime number. Prime numbers play a big part in a lot of these things, right? Especially in crypto. But then there's also this basis number, which I forget. There's something to the basis number as well. I'm curious. I don't think it's ever discussed in the FNV where the numbers came from or how they were discovered. All right, so it has various variants. So it's based upon the FNV primes for the desired bit length. So yeah, you might be able to do it for smaller bit lengths that do not end up being powers of 2, which could be interesting. And yeah, no worries, Forbly. And I didn't know this. Python uses a modified version of the FNV scheme for its default hash function, which I find interesting. And it's important to recognize that it is not a cryptographic hash. Ooh, but it looks like FNV has been replaced with SIP hash, which I have not seen. To resist hash flooding? So yeah, let me look at SIP hash over here. And yeah, we are definitely running out of space. I can close this. There we go. Oh, there it is, SIP hash. Okay. So it's designed as a non-cryptographic hash function. So it's fundamentally different from SHA in that it's only suitable as a message authentication code, a keyed hash function like HMAC. SHA is designed so that it's difficult for an attacker to find two messages, X and Y, that have the same SHA, even though anyone can compute SHA-X. Okay. So yeah, my guess is that we don't really care about SIP hash. And interestingly, we don't see an implementation. DJB said, hold on, let me read it here. DJB said he chose the magic number from testing. Some simple hashes implement a scheme like a linear congruential generator for random numbers, which work best when the multiplier has bits in certain places. Okay. Okay, so hold on. The offset bases are computed by computing the FNV0 from the following 32 octets when expressed in ASCII. And this is one of Landon Kurt Knoll's signature lines. This is the only current practical use for FNV0. So the number for the prime is determined as follows. So S is an integer, and it needs to be between 4 and 11, where n is then 2 to the power of s. It looks like an 8. Yeah, 2 to the power of s. And where t is then 5 plus n over 12. So it tends to have better dispersion by matching these properties. So yeah, right? Like y 4 and 11. Y 5 plus n and 12, right? I don't know. Yeah, right? At the end of the day, it's all magic. It's magic all the way down. So, right? It's a non-cryptographic hash because it's actually meant to be fast. One of the big things about cryptographic hashes is you typically want them to be slow. Or at least, you know, require a bit of, like, cycles to do, because you don't want people able to, like, generate a rainbow table quickly, right? My guess is algorithm. Yeah. So if you're not aware, I'm using a font for my browser called Sans Bullshit Sans. Leveraging the synergy of ligatures. Is your friend a rockstar programmer? Are you being asked to cause a paradigm shift? Does your coworker have the job title social media guru? Yeah, there's a solution. Our BS app saves your bullshit in bullshit and creates a paradigm shift, which is bull fucking shit, that'll gamify, bullshit, the way you create value, which is bull fucking shit. Said the bullshit marketeer. No, I don't do resume reviews, sorry. I think Melky does, though. So yeah, paste your bullshittiest marketing blurb here, or type something yourself. So yeah. And I like how, right? Like, oh yeah, no, look at all the math we employed here. Duh. It's important. So yeah, it's a solid font. I recommend everyone install it into their browser as the default font, because it'll make browsing Wikipedia way more fun. Yes. Anyone remember when I did that presentation for the Manning Rust conference online? I accidentally had it as my font for that. Yeah, exactly. It's a conversation starter. So yeah, the sticky state, right? So being an iterative hash based primarily on multiplication and XOR, the algorithm is sensitive to the number 0. If the hash were to become 0 at any point during calculation, the next byte hashed were also zeros, the hash would not change. This makes colliding messages trivial to create, given a message that results in a hash value of 0 at some point in its calculation. Additional operations, such as the addition of a third constant prime on each step, can mitigate this, but may have detrimental effects on the avalanche effect, or random distribution of hash values. I mean, you know, we're looking at a hashing algorithm, so we can probably assume that the word is algorithm. What I'd really like is if you, like, hovered over it, you could see something, but that's just not how ligatures work. But yeah, I think we're good enough with... No, I mean, the way is like here. This one definitely isn't algorithm. I'm going to guess it's diffusion, right? So fusion is bullshit. Yeah, diffusion. You can just copy and paste it, right? Because the ligature is just a representation of the underlying text. It doesn't actually change the text. But yeah, I think FNV is fine for what we're doing because it's a relatively simple algorithm, so we can go recreate it in other languages. What we need to do now then, I don't think we need FNV64. Let me go look at it. That one would be the offset basis. And yeah, tab 9 is killing it as an auto-completion extension. So yeah, pumped on it. Hold on, let me double check one thing here. I bet we could improve the performance of this by getting rid of the reduce. Yeah, I think it is free. And is the music like a good volume there, Tryon, or is it too loud? Okay, so I should probably turn up the music on YouTube a bit. It's like really quiet right now though, so give it a second until the song like kicks back up. Is that better? Yeah, the song was at a quiet part as well, but you're right that it was too quiet before. No, we only turn off music for YouTube when I'm doing stuff that isn't royalty free. Let's do I. And this is actually just characters. All right, so we just sped up what we're hashing here. We technically didn't need to do this part either, because we know it's a string. Actually, let's do this. We're still going to do that, but then this becomes string or number. Okay, so we sped that one up slightly. We also probably want to do the same thing for the gram hash. Just so they're all on the same like playing field. Oh, and it's the same exact logic here. Let me double check DJB2. And yep, instead of that reduce, we want to do the same thing. It's just character code, isn't it? Hold on. Oh, never mind. All right, so now these are all on the same playing field as far as like, you know, their structure and overhead from various functions. You probably don't want to worry about optimizing for like a decrementing while loop or any of that junk, right? I think a for loop is fine in this case. But a for loop is inherently faster than a for each. Okay, so what we can end up doing is we're going to modify the growth book one. Ooh, one thing they're doing here is they're moving the length check to only happen once. Should probably do the same. Still like doing that, right? We want to make sure that we're at least on the same, you know. I don't like the L part. We're going to call that length at least. Let me go do that for this one. Ooh, And yeah, hold on. Wait. 1 second, Tryon. Sorry. You don't know why you're on YouTube? I mean, the watch hours are great. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Tryon. I have heard people say that depending on if you're on mobile or not, you actually get better latency on YouTube versus Twitch. Like if you're using the mobile app. I don't use the mobile app, so I'm not sure. Alright, so we fixed that one. Let's do this one too. Yeah, only way we'll get there is if we keep letting people know they should spend their channel points. There's only, what, like 10 days left? I'll try and do some extra long streams some of these days, if I can. Alright, so I think we're good now. I can get rid of the algorithm for FNV1A. I think I can get rid of these. We'll leave those for now. Hold on. We're gonna do GB underscore here. And this is actually FNV32. Almost made that mistake. Yeah, it's capped at 2K. Which I find annoying. Yeah, per day. No, I think that's a Twitch thing. I didn't see any way of changing that. Maybe I'm wrong and I just missed it. As a mod? I mean, yeah, take a look. Yeah, I don't know if you'd be able to, like, after it started. It might be something you have to set, like, at the start of it. I don't know. Is the video quality better on YouTube? Interesting. Yeah, thanks, Seb. And hey, what's up, Rondolph? Mr. Sir. Yeah, thank you. And you guys are really helping me out being over on YouTube as well. That helps boost up my watch hours. And watch hours are how we get to full partner on YouTube. We hit the 3K, but we gotta hit 4K. And really, I just need to make more videos, but I'm slacking. But Mohai, ooh, I'm sorry. Can we get a mod to refund Mohai? I'm not really trying to do the transition sound effect stuff right now. Yeah, sorry about that, Mohai. I just saw it. How close am I? Let me look. $3,307. I typically get around like anywhere between like 7 and 20 like per stream, which is pretty solid. Yeah, I don't think we need this anymore. We'll just comment it. We do want to get hash GB64, hash GB itself. Oh! So yeah, anyone catch that bug? We've got DJB2 hash function, and it's running gram hash. So that's not going to work. DJB2.ts. We might not need the .ts, but it's not complaining, so I don't care. DJB2 is the name. I know what you meant. The curly brace? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way Python does it, right? From thing import blank. Yeah, so what we're going to do here is this create hash function. This is going to be create node hash function. Oh, wrong thing. And then here we're going to do a create custom hash function. Oh, and the seed values here are a problem. And hold on. What did I miss? VS Code does still try to be smart about it, yeah, but it could be better. So one big problem we're running into with these larger hash functions is the fact that we have to use big int And I think that really messes with their performance. But I don't think there's anything we can do about that because they're inherently large number functions. So yeah, anyway, let's continue this, right? Create custom hash function, and we're not using it yet. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Hold on. I'll just comment that out for now. I don't think we end up needing this. This is going to be the algorithm, which is a string. And we do still want to pass in the seed values. And we can be loosey-goosey about just doing function. Let me double check this. No. Let's just go grab this. It's going to be something like that. And it outputs a number. Yeah, exactly, the bread. There might be some way to make that happen, but I think it'll get pretty gross. So, if we worry about the performance of it, we could always rewrite it. If you want to have a little hack at it, like, yeah, I really don't get bit shifting and masking either. But I was going to say, if you wanted to maybe code that out into like an example, like using like a node REPL, right? So replit like node, that'd be cool. We could always look it up too. I just, I'd rather get this part set up to graph all these things first, and then we can think about it. Wait, where did I just type that? Oh, yeah, I'm messing this one up completely. This is the place I want it. Alright, so then this part, we just want to return an object with the algorithm. So yeah, we're doing a higher order function here that I don't think we're going to end up needing. But we only want to pass in the seed at that point. And in fact, we can hard code the seed. So we just want to return a function that does this. Actually, I think we just wanted that. And we'll just do 0.11 for now, just for the sake of it. And we should be good. Okay, so now that'll simplify a bit of what we're doing. Not totally simplify, but it means that we don't end up needing these anymore. And I think we're good on that. So now we need to use these, though. So then here we just want to translate this part. Weird that we weren't getting any auto-completion for that, though. So we do custom, and then the function is hash string, and we can leave the seed. So then here, fnv1a. Called it gram hash. This one is then going to be, instead of fnv1a, this is more like, what did we call it? Hash GB64. Oh. Hey, what up, glasses? Mr. Sir.
The support. The LTEF-4 stream, a shadowy figure in a digital realm, is a supervillain capable of manipulating technology with just a thought. They harness the power of disruption, able to crash systems, evaporate digital data, and plunge cities into chaos by simply closing down their vital digital infrastructures as effortlessly as hitting the Alt F4 command on a keyboard. Originating from a cybernetically enhanced hacker whose experiment with consciousness upload went awry, they merged with the internet, becoming a sentient digital entity. Their main arch-nemesis is Firewall Phoenix, a hero with the power to regenerate and protect
I think it
digital
called it
and
Firewall
real-world
Phoenix last
structures
time,
with the
too.
Alt F4 stream's devastating shutdown commands. Together, their battle rages in the silent world of cyberspace, a war invisible to the naked eye but felt by all.
Dude, that one's good. I'm downloading that one, and yeah, I'm gonna AIify it. That one's solid. Yeah, this Mac Mini only has 16 gigs. So Hayden, Chrome, Firefox, pretty much every major browser sleeps tabs unless it's doing something. So even yeah, like, you know, as long as it's not playing a video or doing whatever, it's probably fine. You might notice that like JavaScript even gets throttled. Take it easy. Arc is based on Chromium, isn't it? So I would assume so. But real quick, if y'all want to see me go through these tabs, donate some of them bits to the cause. We have, not bits, sorry, channel points, right? You can make me go through my tabs by contributing to that 1,000,000 points that we need. It is totally doable. Oh, really, X Factor? I didn't know that. That's fine. So yeah, highly encouraged. Everyone joining from the raid, go check it out. But yeah, glasses. If you're out there, what were you up to today? Let me look. Services in Golang with Nix, by the way. Nice. And yeah, thanks everyone for contributing. For everyone joining us, what we're doing right now is we are evaluating hashing algorithms for their distribution. Now, technically, I think our tab is good because I haven't saved yet. But what we're seeing is that certain algorithms behave differently with their distribution depending on if we're passing numbers or strings. This bottom graph is strings, this graph is numbers. So my custom hashing algorithm actually doesn't distribute properly when dealing with numbers, which I find a little interesting. The gram hash, which is basically the same as my custom algorithm, but with different magic numbers, also completely breaks when we do this hashing. So yeah, it's a little interesting. So Quirk has an internal bot engine now, basically. You have it connected to Twitch, and today you were hooking up to Discord voice? Or the Discord service. Okay. And when you say internal bot engine, you mean for things like Stream Elements type stuff? Or do you mean something different? So it doesn't matter where the message comes from anymore. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay, Cool. Yeah, I might try and switch to that from Nightbot here at some point. Right. Okay. And when you say NLP stuff, like, what do you mean by that, basically? Like it understands the intent of the message rather than just requiring, like, a specific command? Right, so Quark doesn't do commands. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I think Rock's codes ended up doing something kind of like that, too. Right, so instead of requiring someone to do a command, if someone just comes in and says, "What are we up to today?" it would understand that you probably wanted to do the today command. So yeah, I might try and set that up when I finally decide to ditch Nightbot. That's awesome. I am a little worried, though, because I'm not sure you can make it scale properly. Wink. Bad joke from the last time you rated. He uses UUIDs. Those don't scale. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and theoretically, it'll even be able to learn questions, right? Okay. So when you say learn, are you trying to make it, like, reply on its own? Or maybe just more, like, surface, like, hey, here's the most common questions that are asked in your chat. How would you like to reply? I think that would be, like, a really nice feature. Like, you don't necessarily need to generate it. Yeah, okay, so basically just surfacing, like, today, X amount of people asked this question. You might want to create a command. That's really awesome. I like that. Yeah, that's a huge, awesome feature right there, man. So yeah, I plan on switching over to Quark here soon. Got too much other stuff to do right now, though, which is a bummer. But it'll happen. So it's why it'll be a paid bot, though, right? But cheap. Sure. Right? Because you have to do, like, your own, like, extra stuff on top. But it also provides more value than some of the other things. Okay. So are you planning on doing, like, a monthly thing? Or are you more thinking about doing usage-based billing? Right? Because I feel like a flat monthly rate would be trickier for people that only stream maybe, like, once a week versus people that stream every day. And if you want to do usage-based billing, well, yeah, we need to work on Walter here again at some point. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Are you thinking you would do, like, as the usage goes, you, like, invoice people at the end of the month? Or would you rather do, like, a prepaid, like, you know, add to your balance and deduct from it like you do with DigitalOcean or something? Okay. So yeah, if you want to do the credits thing, like, what's your, you know, you're not decided yet, but do you have a time frame? So as long as you don't allow people to transfer credits among each other, Stripe is totally okay with that. Right? And as long as you don't allow people to extract them out, that's probably also a thing you want to do. So once they bought the credits, they're just there. They don't expire, but, you know, you're not going to ever be able to pull them out. I've thought about this heavily. And I'm basically building out that, like, usage-based billing. Like, we have a product for that I want to kind of get to once we kind of get Vexilla and the feature flagging set up better. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, do you have a time frame that you're looking at? 6 months, a year, a week? You know, like, I'm curious about that. When would you want the billing part, like, sorted out? Because you're not the only one that is doing a project that I think would benefit from something like that. So Target is beta for TwitchCon. Okay. Which means you probably want the billing stuff ready a month or two before that for testing and all that, to integrate it and things like that. Because my goal is also to maybe be, like, pluggable, so you could switch from Stripe to Lemon Squeezy, or, you know, you can take money from PayPal as well. Ah, okay. Yeah, if you end up doing closed beta, maybe it's not as important. But once you want to open it up to the public, you'd want to have that billing stuff set. Okay. Yeah, let's talk more about this, because I really want to get Walter, like, set up for that. I think Walter is actually, like, a better, like, monetizable business than Vexilla. I just think Vexilla is really cool. Like, I would need a cloud offering for Vexilla to make any sense. Like, as far as, like, you know, seeking investment, etc. Yeah, no worries. Yep. Yeah, I really think we're kind of close with Walter. So yeah, at some point, if you want to help me test it out, that would be great. That'd be awesome. Yeah, he's talking about TwitchCon San Diego for sure. Yep. Okay, yeah. And also, what are you thinking about using for feature flagging at some point, if you do? I'm asking for no reason in particular. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I think we're, like, real close to doing our 1.0. I technically deployed out the Node.js and Rust packages already. Yeah, per user, organization stuff, etc. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Would you require open feature support? Because I don't know if that's on my roadmap yet. And yeah, exactly, right? It's going to be way more than just that bot part, for sure. Okay, yeah, so you know how there's open telemetry? Open feature is aiming to do the same thing so that you're not necessarily, like, locked to a vendor as much. I don't know if it's part of the... It is part of the CNCF, right? So yeah, it's basically open telemetry, but for feature flagging instead. So I don't have support for that at the moment. But I probably do want to get there sooner rather than later. I actually wanted to wire up like open telemetry support first, so that you could do your own like faux A/B testing. Yeah. I think OTel is totally a different thing. Yeah. So open feature is a completely separate thing. I do want to get OTel integrated with my feature flagging, because then that becomes basically A/B testing at that point. You know, the only thing that we're not doing for A/B testing is we don't record anything anywhere, but if we can wire that up to your own OTel, then you get that out of the box. So yeah, I plan on doing the OTel integration for Vexilla before I end up trying to support open feature. Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be cool. So, yep. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. This sounds fun. Yep. Like 45 lambdas. Yeah, I'd be curious about how you did that, because Walter, the billing as like the prepaid balance as a service thing I'm building, it's like 75 separate lambdas as well, because I used Architect. So it's like an individual lambda for every endpoint. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, at some point, if, when you want to get Vexilla integrated, I'm happy to hop on a call with you. Right? Co-stream, whatever. Yeah, that'd be fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think there's going to be some things that you're going to like about it. Like one idea, or one thing that we already have, is we can take the JSON file and generate types in your code. That way you're not doing magic strings for like the name of a feature. And it means that you can also change the name of a feature, because we're actually referencing the UUID under the hood instead. Or not UUID, it's nano ID. And because it's just a JSON file, you can just throw it up to S3 and CloudFront, and you get like infinite scalability out of it without having to worry about, you know, your feature flag service being down, because it's just client-based. I know you could make a Unleash scale for you. I know you could do this, but also if you don't have to, that's nicer, isn't it? You're not a fan of Unleash? Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many other like self-hostables there are. I think Growthbook also does the feature flag thing. So, you know, if we can't scratch the itch for you, Growthbook is probably the one you want to check out. Yeah, I feel like last time you used it was a while ago, though. Like before they got investment and became like a cloud offering as well. Yeah. So, I don't know. Could be worth looking at again, but also maybe not. I think it's written in PHP. So, you know, that's less fun. I enjoy it. I think PHP is fine, but having to set up hosting PHP infrastructure when you're more geared towards other things is just, ugh, like extra, you know? It is just a Docker container, though, so it's probably fine. I'm curious, what didn't you like about Unleash? What was rough about it? Was it just the UI? Was it worrying about scaling the service? Because I know you're really into the idea of self-hosting it, right? Which, yeah, for Vexilla, self-hosting is a snap. out loud. But I'm going to continue hacking at some of these functions real quick. What I want to do here then and we end up just flipping the order. Oh, and then here we do the same thing, just wrap that. But yeah, happy to keep chatting. I just wanted to do at least a little bit of this to keep things moving along. The UI was terrible, though. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna need help evaluating the UI for what I'm doing then, for sure. Alright, so we got all those. Get rid of these now. So yeah, custom hash function, gram hash function, fnv1a hash function, djb2. Oh, I forgot djb2. Let's just rephrase these. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Yeah, let's do that and that. I don't think we need the hybrid hash functions anymore. I don't think that actually had much value for us. All right, so we should be good to rerun these tests now. PNPM start, and let's see what performance starts to look. Alright, so yeah, for numbers, we actually still see a really bad distribution for DJB2. Gram hash still fails as well. Mine is not great. we see GB64, which is not quite as evenly distributed as FNV1A or GB32, at least for the numbers that we ran on. We see the 50% quantile is right there at 50, like, you know, real close. We see 25% is like 1 percentage point over, which isn't ideal. 75 is actually closer than GB32. I'm surprised that GB32 is slower than GB64. What I find extra interesting is that GB64 doesn't collapse the way that my FNV1A collapsed when we did the 64-bit. And that's my guess as to... Well, no, hold on. They're still doing 32-bit in theirs, right? When we look at FNV, yeah, this part right here might actually be like the bit masking, but it's still the 32-bit numbers, so that's probably not it. So yeah, something I did with my FNV1A was actually broken. When I was using the 64-bit numbers. But we fixed it now. That is so weird to me. Okay. So this is what we see as the distribution of numbers. We see that DJB2 and Gram Hash are fast, because they're the fastest of this group, but it might be like negligible differences. Oh, one major flaw we see with DJB2 when it's operating on strings is that it goes negative. Aha! So we're going to want to do a math.absolute like we're doing for our FNV1A. Let's rerun that. And that might be why our FNV1A ends up being slower than their FNV1A, than growth books. So maybe some of this is also to make sure that the value is above 0. Anyone know what the triple caret here does in JavaScript? Unsigned shift. Ah. Okay. So is that basically the way they're doing a math.absolute? Is that just a faster math.absolute? do this. Okay, so they are not the same. Yikes. Not even close. Okay. Yeah, bit shifting and masking is definitely over my head. I don't know what this is meant to be doing. But I think we have to do math.abs. Right. So I think a branch here is a really bad idea. Right? Like a conditional branching for performance reasons. So this does it in some Python code. Oh, this is Java? This is Java code. Oh, that makes sense, Capybara. Okay. Got it. So it is different from absolute. Okay. Actually, this is saying that and yeah, this is 2009. They're probably operating with let's look at it for JavaScript specifically. That function was broken for math.infinity. You're saying this one? So you're saying this function right here is broken for infinity. But is this one? Oh, it should be? I didn't even think about that. Really? Oop. Oh. Not what I wanted. Wanted to auto-complete that. It isn't in JS. Alright, so hold on. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no worries. Let's try this. So the test case name here is math.abs. And this one is bitwise magic. Now let's do it over 1 million. So JSBench is a benchmarking tool. And just to be consistent, const I is equal to that. Let's just do this, const abs is equal to, and where did we see this bit? Hello? Oh, paused in debugger. There we go. All right, copy. Making copies. Nope. That was not it. So then that's just I. All right, let's run it. That's a lot of samples. You're totally right. Abort! Abort! You're right, I missed it. Right, like Super Dave. I missed it. Anyone here ever watched Super Dave back in the day? Yeah, good call, Bot Cooper. I totally missed it. Well, that didn't work. Invalid or unexpected token. Where? Oh, you're right. Okay, good call. That copy and paste got us. Yep, that was it. Yeah, their site font broke that. That was a good call. It was the wrong minus symbol. Yeah, good catch. Good call, everyone. Yes, exactly. I hate that so much, the bread. I feel like that's a thing that Word documents do as well. Now keep in mind, this is a micro-optimization, but it's kind of important to get this right. Hyphen instead of hyphen minus? Oh, interesting. Huh. It looks fairly negligible. Oh, M dash, because it's the width of an M. Got it. So we're still at 113 million ops per second. Does look like the bitwise magic is less consistent, but by like a very small margin of error. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I like that. Oop. Oh, it does say both are fastest. Good call, I missed that. You're right, it said both are fastest. So at this point, it might not matter. Still think it's worth checking, though, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. They're both fastester than the other. Oh, fastest-ist. There you go. Theoretically, but it is a function call. So the overhead of a function call might be a problem. Oh, and yeah, floats are numbers too. Good call. In this case, we're typically only doing it with ints, but technically in JavaScript, all numbers are floats. Oh, there you go. Yeah, do the branching version. They're both fastest. All right. Hold on. Yeah, I like that. Let's add the other one. All right, so then this one is, right, we still want to do the number thing. We could probably set up the number outside of these. But I don't think this would run on every iteration, so never mind. Yeah, I think we just want to duplicate it. Oh, yep, got it. That makes more sense there, standard error. Man, the AC is finally starting to work in here. It is not miserably hot like it was earlier. Like, I'm almost at, like, I need a hoodie kind of, like, temperature now, which is perfect. You know what's going to be funny? What if the conditional ends up being faster? Alright, just due to some weird, magical, like, just-in-time compilation. Oh, X Factor, I have a portable AC unit that's wired up to my window. Or like, you know, tubed up to my window, I guess. So based on this initial number right there, I feel like the conditional is actually slower. Now it did bump up to the 9.5. So yeah, the performance of these might not matter. And they're all fastest because of just the margin of error. So based on this, I think we're good. I want to do one more thing. Yeah, no worries, Eister. Yeah, have a good one. Hold on, is there another JS bench tool? Ooh, this one's pretty. I don't know if it's actually able to measure too much of a difference between them. We'll find out. Because I want to check it in a different browser too. Exactly. The fastest, the fastestest, and the fastestest. Duh. Oh, hold on. Okay. So now, if I take this, and we try it in Firefox, do we see any differences? Well, let's try it in Safari now. You don't trust it just by looking at it? We should probably verify that. I know, exactly. Ooh, all right. So Safari, math.absolute. Chrome is this one. Firefox, math.absolute. So yeah, math.abs might be the move. Yeah, just trust the browser and use it. Well, here's the thing. We're gonna want to do it in Node as well. If I run Chrome 3 times, is it consistent? We're not sure. Let's try it. Nope. So a lot of this just happens to be wildly inconsistent anyway. Yeah, I trust the JS bench more than this one, even though this one's prettier and shareable without having to log in. JS bench at least runs a lot of the variations. Oh, that's true. Yeah, good point. Node is V8. It may be an older version of V8, though. Yeah, most of the cycles are probably the math.random. It's true. I wonder how some of this would then end up being different in languages like Rust or Go. You're right, it's not IOJS. Touche, touche. Yeah, I say if we just use the platform that we're on, their absolute value function, we're probably good to go. I just wanted to double check that. That's all. I actually want to keep that one around. Yeah, it's kind of fun just to like check it out and see. You know? I think for the most part, you can't make assumptions about how JavaScript is going to get optimized because of the just-in-time compiler. So that might be actually what's happening. Just-in-time compiler might be recognizing all of these as basically the same thing and then turning it into something magical. Yeah, let me double check that. Sure, you can just go here. Right, exactly. All right, so 8732. 8732, we do end up losing the trailing value. I don't think that's necessarily important for what we're doing. So floats aren't real. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think at the bare minimum, just, you know, math.abs of I is closer to real. So yeah, I think instead of worrying about bit shifting, we can just, yeah, let's just use the platform. Cool. I think that was worth checking out, though. That was a fun little excursion. All right, so let me double check this, just rerun. We're gonna see this re-render here in just a sec, I think. Maybe. All right, so DJB2, not a great distribution. Gram hash, pretty good. Interestingly, the math.abs doesn't end up, or actually like maybe makes these other ones slower when working with numbers, but when working with strings, we see kind of what we were expecting here at the top. So then, last thing I want to check is when we're looking at the results for 1,000 of these, what's actually like the runtime differences? So gram and custom are pretty much exactly the same speed. DJB2 is just slightly slower. FNV1A ends up being like twice as long. Our version of FNV1A and the Growthbook 32-bit version are basically the same speed. But then when we see the 64-bit version, right, due to larger numbers, this is twice as slow. Okay. Now, I was a little surprised that the integer values actually end up being different than what we were expecting. Like, DJB2 and gram are really fast. Surprised that custom is that much slower than these when working with numbers. But also, we can't trust DJB2 or gram for numbers because their distribution is way off. So even though they're really fast, they're just no good. And my custom is also kind of no good. Once we get to strings that are randomly generated, we just want something that gets us pretty close to the right quantiles. So the bottom 25%, we're actually closer with FNV1A, our version of it. But our upper end is actually worse than Growthbooks. What we're also maybe running into is just because we're doing random generation, right? This might actually be like varied. And they all end up being within, like, I would say a margin of error that's okay. Man, DJB2 is pretty damn good, though, for strings. So yeah, let me look one more time. So I'd say we're probably good with our FNV1A implementation. I think, well, I was going to say, I think gram, custom, and DJB2 end up being faster because they don't have to do the math.absolute. But DJB2 does, which means, yeah, this is really fast. I just wish it worked for numbers. Let me do this. We're gonna do a find and replace real quick. Alright, so for numbers, yeah, Graham still off. DJB2 ends up being slower. No. We just did 4096 because it seemed like, you know, something we could do instead of 100. What we're looking for is just a value between 0 and 100. And that could be part of it, right? So hold on. Instead of 4096 here, if we change this to 100, do we see any difference? So standard error. All we're trying to do is like figure out our hashing algorithm for gradual releases for feature flag. So we actually just want a number between 0 and 100. Right? So if you want to release out to 20% of your users or 40% of your users. And it did impact our ability to be in the middle. So I think 4096 was actually better still. Yeah, 4096, doing that division gives us a more reliable output. Interestingly, we don't even see the growth book hashing algorithm here within the top 10, which I find interesting. Wait, I don't even see it in there at all, though. Oh, here it is. So GB32, GB64, we're at .002. Yeah, order of magnitude slower, which is even more interesting. And I think part of that is if we look at the growth book function, I think this part might be part of it. Right? They're basically... So, number one, they're running the function twice, which I think makes it slower automatically, but they're also converting numbers to strings more often than we do. And in fact, yeah, our function doesn't do that because we do that before we pass it into the hashing algorithm. And keep in mind, a lot of this is just micro-optimization, so it's not that important, but I still think it's kind of a fun blog post. Get some of that sweet SEO. Yeah, I think we're ready to actually start hacking out the blog post. And I think we're also ready to start refactoring all of our SDKs to use FNV1A instead of what we had. Which also means that we might need to readjust some of our tests to have a different seed value, which should be fine. Okay, so now let's actually start looking at this part. So when we go into the Vexilla code, yep, we pull that down. Both bit reflection and conditional branching. Interesting. Thanks, Capybara. I'm wondering, does it turn into, like, after compilation, does it turn into the exact same, like, assembly instructions? Did you put it through Godbolt? Because I'd be curious about that. Like, even if they're the same speed, do they actually generate the same assembly? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Oh, so you disabled optimizations to avoid that. Okay. Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's interesting. I'd love to know the results when you're done. Because, yeah, this is kind of fun, isn't it? All right, so let me go look at this. We've got a blog post that we renamed. That'll probably be over in content. Yup. Hash distribution.mdoc.back. All right, so then, yeah, for components in here, we're going to want to create a folder for blog components. Oh, that was the wrong button. Yeah, it would make sense. Yep. Yeah, I totally get that. look at how we're doing this real quick. If we look at documentation, maybe not core concepts, maybe it is guides. Oh, right, because the way we're doing this. I don't think I have any of those snippets over here. Oh, we do. All right, perfect. And hey, what up, Sneaky Foxtrot? What did I think of it? I thought it was cool. Yeah, Danny Thompson, pretty cool. I like how he does that stuff. I don't personally, make content for juniors, but it's good that people are out there doing it, Like, I don't find that fun, and I got to make sure I stay motivated by doing things I find fun. But if he finds that stuff fun, that's awesome, right? Because someone needs to do it. In a similar way, like, I don't do resume review, but if Melky enjoys doing resume review, there's people that really, really like it, and I'm glad that at least someone's doing it. It's just not for me, that's all. So yeah, this is what we want to do. So what you're seeing right here with these little like snippet things, this is MarkDoc. So MarkDoc is basically like a markdown flavor that allows you to inject components into your stuff that ends up looking like shortcodes in WordPress rather than MDX where you're doing like full on like, React components like directly in there. So it's aimed more at documentation people that aren't coders, which I find very cool and interesting. Now, for me, does that matter as much? No, but what if we end up getting people that aren't necessarily coders that want to help with the docs? Maybe MarkDoc is a little easier for them to like understand and get in here. I don't know. It's a thought. But that's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to create a component for the graphing stuff that we're doing. And I think this is where it gets a little trickier. Oh, okay. Makes sense there, Foxtrot. Yeah, just because it seems like common sense doesn't mean that it's actually that common. Right? There's that joke, common sense isn't that common. But it's also just, when you hear people make questions like that, they probably, did use common sense, but then they doubted themselves. Right? That level of imposter syndrome is way more common than common sense. So even if they came to the same conclusion themselves, still worth it to hear someone else confirm it. I also think sometimes in a space like that, sometimes you just get people that wanted to hop up on stage and chat. So they might ask a question that they probably kind of knew the answer to anyway, but it's a way of getting involved. Right? They might just be big fans of Danny and wanted to have some way of interacting with him. It's possible. You never know. I'd say it's probably a little bit of both. Right? Number one, they wanted to interact in some way. but I think still, like, there's the bit of, like, they're junior enough that they're not sure they can trust their intuition. One single instruction for x86. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Thanks for checking that out, Capybara. All right, so yeah, the blog post we're working on, we're gonna have a component we want to create for it. I do believe we end up needing to do... In fact, let's just copy code snippet itself. And then this is gonna be... hash graph, distribution graph. Right, because it's almost like a one-off. I think it's still worth it. Oh, and this is definitely an issue we have with how we're doing that. And yeah, what up, Rickety Man? How you doing? I don't know why that made me think of Rickety Cricket from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if you've seen the show. But yeah, it's going well. How about you? We're working on creating a blog post about how and why we chose our graphing or our hashing algorithm for gradual releases. We did some initial graphing of, you know, the distribution for number values. Gram hash just breaks for number values for some reason. Our custom hash actually doesn't do that great for number values either. DJB2 kind of blows it on number values as well, which I find interesting. FNV1A is probably what we're going to end up using, because it's a really, like, stable, even distribution. Ah, it's inspired by Rick and Morty. Okay, makes sense. Right? And, you know, it's probably a simpler bit of code than MD5 is, or than, you know, SHA-224, or things like that. So being able to re-implement this in languages that don't have some of these algorithms by default means that, yeah, we should be more portable as we do things. Now, one thing we notice for strings is that gram hash kills it, and it's really fast. DJB2 is about the same speed, but doesn't give us the right distribution for the strings that we tested. Even our custom algorithm, it's kind of failing, right? What we expect to see in these quantiles is that 50% is 50, right? 75% is 75, etc. We also see that my custom algorithm doesn't be like above 99, which is a bummer, and that's due to how we're kind of like doing some of that. This is going to go on the blog for Vexilla. So Vexilla has its own blog posts. Right, so choosing the versions for our language SDKs, right? you know, like how and why did we do that? We want to, as a general goal, support 90% of a language's ecosystem, which is why we opted for PHP 7.4. When you add all these up together, you know, we're within a reasonable amount of PHP devs. But we also needed to consider WordPress devs. And at that point, we do still get like a reasonable amount from 7.4 and above. And 7.4 is the most common for WordPress at the time of testing, you know, when we did this. So by targeting 7.4, we can hit 90% of PHP users and 90% of WordPress users. Means that we don't get all the latest and greatest things in the language we're using, but for an SDK, we want broad support. So then for Python, very similar stuff, right? There's all sorts of cool new features you can get with brand new Python versions. But at the end of the day, we need to check the languages or the versions that our users might be using. And from there, 3.6 is still the majority. So we can target 3.6 and get anything newer than that just fine. Same thing for Kotlin. We do some stuff there. Maybe it's less relevant for Kotlin because it's more about the JVM version we target. But still relevant. So yeah, we got to target JVM 8 rather than 11. It's changing, but 33% of users is still important to us. And then, yeah, so I don't know. I think interesting blog posts like that, not only is it interesting, but it also kind of just like creates Vexilla as at least like an authority, right? Like we've done the effort, we picked these things, we did this stuff for a reason. And I haven't seen any good blog posts about it either. So maybe we get some sweet, sweet SEO. So yeah, next we'll be working on a blog post about our hashing algorithm. And I think that blog post could turn into a pretty decent like meetup / conference talk too. It depends, Rickety, man. So one thing, there's always like good first issue, which is useful, right? So you can find repos that have issues tagged with good first issue. This is more for people that are just trying to get started coding in general, right? These are going to be like nice and easy issues to fix, but maybe it's like they're easy because you don't need to know the entire code base. So I don't know, this might be a good site to check out. I would say Open Sourced might even have some cool stuff. All right, so now we're in. Yeah, no worries. So good first issue, and I would say Open Sourced is another good one too. I know less about how you would figure that out with Open Sourced. It's probably over in like the Explore section or something. Right? You would then pick your language maybe. You know, what language are you most familiar with? Golang? Rust? PHP? JS, Python, and C#? Sure, let's do, I don't know. If you're familiar with JavaScript, then yeah, here you go. So yeah, you might want to aim for ones that have a decent amount of activity. things that have like a good PR velocity so that you can like get things merged in or at least like denied quicker. Yeah, it's pretty nifty. Like, open source is doing a lot of cool work. And I don't know if you know Zayu Dev, who's here on Twitch. She actually works for open source. They've got a couple people from their team this stream. It's pretty awesome. That might make a decent YouTube video. Just showcasing like, hey, you want to get started in open source? At least at the moment, right? Open source contribution getting started 2024. And then we can update it in like a year or two. That's good, easy content. That might be fun. So yeah. Damn it. Into the list. I've got more video ideas than I have time to make YouTube content. That was not the one I wanted. I recognize the icon. Right? Like, I'm not that good with all these others. I know this right here is Addy Osmani. Nope, never mind. It looks like Addy's photo, but it's not. This is a Vercel thing, I guess? Oh, jsperf.app. That was the other benchmarking tool I was looking for. That's right. With automated year changer? No. Like, the idea is I would just be able to make another video.
Support.
Hey, Rickety Man, thank you.
Rickety Man emerges from the shadows of digital darkness as a cunning supervillain, a master hacker with the power to control any electronic device with just their thoughts. Their reign of cyber terror began after a freak accident involving a high-tech experiment and a rogue AI which fused their consciousness with the digital realm. They're draped in a cloak of shimmering codes, their eyes glowing with the data streams they manipulate. Their superpower isn't just in hacking, they can bring digital constructs to life, materializing viruses and malware into physical minions to do their bidding. No bank vault is secure, no secret is safe. However, their ambitions run deeper. They seek to disrupt the very fabric of society by erasing and rewriting digital identities, plunging the world into chaos. Facing off against Rickety is Biter Guardian, a cybersecurity expert turned superhero after losing everything to one of Rickety schemes. With advanced tech armor and an AI sidekick, Biter Guardian is determined to safeguard the digital and real world against Rickety anarchic plots.
That was pretty solid. And if you end up wanting that audio clip, just let me know. Send me a message over. I know it got pretty dark. Send me a message over on the Discord, and I can download the clip for you.
Thanks for the support.
Oh, I actually wanted to save that, not click it. Yeah, let me get it downloading for you right away. Robotic Head posted a pretty solid image. Yeah, the bread. So what I noticed is that their FNV1A for Growthbook, right? Their algorithm actually works 64-bit wise as well, which I find interesting. But I don't know if we actually care. And from what we've seen, their 64-bit version is slower than their 32-bit version. So I would assume that our 64-bit version would also be slower than our 32-bit version. And I think 32-bit ends up being okay. I would say Replit might be a good option. Either Replit or Code Sandbox, either one. Yeah, if you want to do it with Node, then Replit. If you wanted to do it in the browser, Code Sandbox. I don't know, maybe Code Sandbox does Node stuff now too. I haven't checked. That reminds me, I need to get in touch with the Replit guy, Yves Van Horn. All right, so yeah, let's at least hack this out a bit. We probably don't need the button stuff. We probably will need either a use state or a use effect at types/docs here. So what I probably want to do is we want to go through and convert hold on, let me think about this. We probably want to go through and convert the CSV into JSON. That way we don't need to actually parse it and transform it at runtime. It's just already in a JSON structure is fine. Okay. So that's already part of it. Yeah, we're gonna go remove everything in here. I don't think we care about the storage event stuff. We don't care about copying. We are going to want to think about how we do some of this fetching stuff, though. So yeah, we don't care about those. We probably will want to set the props at some point. Copy outline and icon we don't care about. We might care about CLSX. I don't know if we care about that yet. We're going to add Nevo box plot. Why did it download React Native? What do we have that depends on React Native? Nothing. So my guess is it's a dependency of one of our dependencies. AWS SDK Client S3 requires React Native? Hey, thanks, the bread. I mean, there's the age-old quote from a film, overkill is underrated. Oh God. Okay, so that's what you were talking about. To actually get it to do the 64-bit. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Right? Yeah, here's the thing, actually, the bread. We're doing Big Num. In our other hashing. Right, so when we run one of the Node.js hashers, we're doing Big Num already, and they perform pretty admirably. So maybe Big Num got optimized or something recently, but Big Num doesn't end up being the problem. Hold on, where is it? Yeah, see? So we're doing big int. Big num, big int. Close enough. We're doing big int and some numbers on that, and it ends up being kind of okay. So I do remember doing an FNV version that did big num stuff, and it ended up being pretty damn slow, like really slow. But I think I was just doing something wrong. And what does the triple caret do? Oh, I forgot already. Hold on, let me look it up again. Unsigned right shift. So it's bitwise stuff. And anytime I'm doing bitwise stuff, or I see bitwise stuff, my brain like nopes out. Oh, is that the difference? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I've never personally needed to do bit shifting for anything I do as an app dev, right? Like, you know. But I bet it becomes real important as like a library author. But yeah, there's so many things that I've just never needed. Building out front ends or even APIs and stuff like that. So you were using that to 0 to get an unsigned value. And then the bar 0 works the same. ASM.js definitely did the bar 0 thing. Yep, I remember that. Well, and real quick, thank you for the follow there, Hamigwa. Yeah, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Yeah, Replic's great. It's a good tool. They've definitely pulled some shenanigans in the past, though. They had an employee that left the company that then ended up trying to make like their own kind of thing that was similar to Replit, and the CEO just shut them down. So I find them a bit anti-competitive, but it happens. Like, it probably violated some, like, non-compete, but I bet he wasn't using existing code. But at the same time, like, yeah, if a big company like Replit wants to sue you, they've got bigger pockets. Luckily, I believe you can defend yourself in court for such a lawsuit, but then you got to put in the effort to actually learn how to be a lawyer, at least enough to defend yourself. There's a phrase. They say a man who, hold on. They say a man who represents himself in court has a fool for a client. Well, today, I am that fool. Yeah, I'm gonna say, that's just a ban right there. Alright, they know the rules of chat. They had to agree to the rules, and one of those rules is no politics. So, they knew exactly what they were doing. Account created on, what was it, March 8th? So it's brand new this year, too? Yeah. Easy ban. If they want to be unbanned, they can send an unban request. I don't care what side you're arguing for. Either one is not appropriate here. Alright, so I think we're good there. We added Nevo boxplot. Let's do pnpm dev. No? Oh, it's still starting up. Ooh, and it is 6 o'clock. I want to make sure I, I am ready to game with Acorn, Algo Bro, and Robotic Head, which means I probably need to stop now so I can cook my steak and be ready at a reasonable time to hang out with them. So on Monday, we will fully write this blog post and create the component and get all that stuff going. Let's at least make sure this fired up as expected. Bueller? 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 Yes, we got a performance issue going on. Do we see that maybe something is chewing up more resources than it should? Yeah, we got a code helper, a Chrome helper, and Firefox chewing up way too much. I think we can fix Firefox by doing a hard refresh over on the Twitch chat at least. I'd be really curious which code helper that is. I wish it gave us a little more like info about which VS Code like plugin is messing with us. It's still trying to find the fasterest. Yeah, touche. Touche. All right, so we got this to load. We can head to blog here. We are using tab 9, but tab 9's really not consuming that much. I mean, we can go look at it. Ooh. The PHP language server chewed up a good chunk. MDS. What is MDS? The metadata server, and it's part of Spotlight. Ah. I thought I turned that shit off. So that's what we're dealing with. It shouldn't be doing anything. I wonder if it's doing network stuff? And I can't make it, like, I would hope it's not indexing network stuff. So, yeah. MDS is our problem right now. Like a massive problem. That sucks. Oh well. Well, we're basically finishing up now anyway, so we can let it run and it'll finish and do its thing. Tomorrow is a work day for me. So I will not be on this stream, but I'll be over on gaming. We're going to be hanging out while I do other stuff. Oh yeah, no worries there, Rickety Man. Thank you for giving me inspiration for what might be a pretty decent, like, you know, kind of short YouTube video. Still probably worth it, though. So here's the next thing. Who do we go raid? And I definitely missed some other follows. So yeah, Rickety Man, thank you for the follow. Iverson Kwabana, thank you for the follow. And Cass035. I missed both of those, or all of those, so yeah, sorry. Can't be disabled for Time Machine. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure I have Time Machine even enabled. Maybe I need to disable Time Machine too? I'm not sure that's a good idea. It's fine. I think we're good. So, let's go figure out who we go raid. Oh, we see Nate Codes going. Nate Codes actually agreed with the comment the person we just banned, so that's funny. If he wants to have that stuff in his channel, it's his channel, so he can do it. So we're gonna go raid Nate Codes, because we haven't had a chance to do so for a while. So let's make that happen. He just started too, half an hour ago, so perfect timing. And yeah, let me double check. Anyone else going that we probably owe a raid to? I'd like to raid Productive Time again at some point. She's awesome. But yeah, I think, yeah, we haven't had a chance to raid Nate Codes in a long time, so I think this is going to be perfect. And yeah, if you're not aware, I'll be over on Gaming Stream. We're going to be playing some Helldivers tonight. I'm going to have to cook a steak first, which I think we can do kitchen stream for that part. And it's just a steak, so it'll cook up pretty quick. And yeah. So I'll see some of y'all on gaming here later tonight. I'll see some of y'all on gaming tomorrow while I actually just do a bunch of work. It'll be a co-working stream while we watch some TV shows or movies or whatever. And then we'll be back on this stream on Monday to finish up this blog post. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, thank you all for hanging out. We had a really good, fun day. Thank you again to Glasses for the raid. If you're still out there, thank you, Glasses. You're the man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can do, you know, if any of these things I make are actually applicable to what you're doing. That'd be cool. Be a whole lot cooler if it was. So yeah, we're gonna go say hi to Nate Codes. And yeah, we're gonna see what he's up to. We're gonna hang out, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your night. Oh, let me close the YouTube and all that first. So, YouTube, thank you very much. Have a good night.